No, I think I don't need to use my microphone. I can even use my voice without the microphone. You can hear me. So good morning, distinguished shareholders, my other colleagues on the board, and other subsidiaries of NGX. The company secretary have confirmed to me that we have a quorum. So I think we can go straight to the activities of today. We are going to start with the national anthem. Can we please rise for the national anthem, please? Let me humbly ask, I don't know now. I want somebody average, so that we'll be on the same level. The height, what's his name? No, let me humbly ask my doing Chief Ezeogu to give us an opening prayer, please. Yes, please. Any microphone? Okay. Yes. That's it. That's it.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, Eternal King of Glory, we want to thank you for bringing us safely here. We know that by our own power we can do nothing, but with you we can do many things. And therefore we come before you, ask you to come down and take control of the situation here. Grant us a very fruitful deliberation today. At the end of the day, give us the enablement to be able to do all the other things we wanted to do. For in Jesus' mighty name we have prayed. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please don't be tired. Let's continue standing. For the late Bamofi Ogobanjo and so many of the lost ones. Just a 1 minute silence, please. May their gentle soul rest in perfect peace. Amen. Amen. You may be seated, please. So distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in now just some minutes after 11, I'm pleased to declare open the NGX 2024 Annual General Meeting. Thank you very much. As I stated earlier, the acting company secretary have already confirmed to me that we have formed a quorum. I'm pleased to welcome you to this meeting, which has been duly convened and properly constituted. My name is Umaru Kwairanga, the chairman of the board of directors. Thank you very much. And I would like to introduce the directors that are present here with us today. Seated to my right is the group CEO, Mr. Temi Popola. The next we have Hajia Fatima Wali Abdurrahman. We have next to her is Mo Garuba. Then the next we have Mr. Demola Babarinde. To my extreme left, we have His Excellency Chief Itanyi. Next to His Excellency is Mr. Sheyinde Adenagbe. Next to Sheyinde is Dr. Mr. Nonso Okpala. Next is the Iron Lady, Mrs. Ojini Olagere. We have Mrs. Bola Bello Olusoga, popularly known as Adimo. I believe she's online. She's participating virtually. We also have, thank you very much. We also have members of the Group Executive Committee who happens to be the CEOs of our subsidiaries. We have Mr. Jude Chiemeka, the acting CEO of Nigeria Exchange Limited. We have Mr. Olufemi Shobanjo, CEO, NGX Regulation. And we have Mr. Gabriel Ebeka, acting CEO, NGX Real Estate. We have other members of the management team that include Mr. Siri Egbobo, they are CFO. We have Mr. Tony Idugbo, Group Chief Investment Officer. We have Mr. Bernard Ahanahu, the Group Internal Auditor. And we have Mr. Kolade Adebayo, the Compliance Manager. We have the chairman of our subsidiaries. I think majority of them are joining virtually, but I don't know if there's any of the chairmen that is here present so that I can recognize him or her. But before going further, we have in our midst today, which I've just cited him, our immediate, I believe, past foreign affairs minister. I think he's seated near Nona. I just cited him now. It's something to be proud of that we have somebody in our midst today. Sir, please, can you stand for recognition? Thank you very much, Excellency. I would also like to introduce our regulators. We have SEC, being represented by Achille John Adeyemi Adewoyi. We have the CSC being represented by the Registrar General himself, Hussein Ishaq Magaji. I see. He's going. No problem, you are equal to the tax. I think you should give seat for Chief Nwosu in front here. For him to have even come. Sir, please, can you come to the front, please? Sir, Soni Nwosu. Please, have seat, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Nice to see you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, welcome. So we have the NGX regulation represented by Ghostam Iweneka. Also present as the registrar's data marks registrar represented by Mrs. Olifofisola Folayan. I know you must be here. You don't have option. And we have our external auditors, NS Anyo, represented by Mr. Kanayo Echena and Enoch Udi. We have the chairman of Ashon present here, Mr. Sam Onoke. We have the CIS president, Mr. Wole Adeosun. We have the CIS second vice and the incoming first vice. Shall I continue? The Iron Lady of CIS. What's her full name? Everybody knows Fiona now. Do I need to mention that? But Fiona, you can start for recognition, please. I don't want to stop because I've been seeing a lot of faces that are here that I'll continue to recognize. But if you permit me, I will say that all our esteemed shareholders be represented. We have Boniface, we have Kabiru Tambari, we have Nona, we have Chief, and our able Sasodi Nwosu, and so many other faces that I'm seeing here today. You are all welcome, and those that are even joining us virtually, you are all welcome for this, our AGM. And we are not taking it for granted. We appreciate all the support that we have been getting from you, and you be rest assured you will not be disappointed from the people on this side. So I will now call on the company secretary to read the notice convening this meeting, please. Company Secretary.
Notice of the 63rd Annual General Meeting. Notice is hereby given that the 63rd Annual General Meeting of Nigerian Exchange Group PLC, the company, will hold at the Event Center, 20th floor, Nigerian Exchange Group House, 2 to 4 Custom Street, Lagos, on Monday, 29th April 2024 at 11 a.m. prompt to transact the following businesses. Ordinary business, number 1, to receive the company's audited financial statements for the year ended December 31st, 2023, and the reports of the directors, auditor, board evaluation consultants, and audit committee thereon. Number 2, to declare a final dividend. Number 3, to ratify the appointment of Mr. Temi Popola, who was appointed as the Group Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer by the board after the last annual general meeting. Number 4, to re-elect the following non-executive directors that are retiring by rotation. A, Mr. Sheyinde Adenagbe, B, Mr. Ademola Babarinde, and C, Mr. Mohammed Garuba. Number 5, to authorize the board to fix the remuneration of the external auditors. Number 6, to disclose the remuneration of managers of Nigerian Exchange Group PLC. Number 7, to elect or re-elect members of the Statutory Audit Committee. Special business. Number 8, to consider and if thought fit, pass the following resolution as ordinary resolution, that the directors' annual fees for the financial year ending December 31st, 2024, and for succeeding years until reviewed by the annual general meeting, be and are hereby fixed at 12 million naira for chairman and 7.5 million for each other non-executive director respectively. Such fees to be payable quarterly in arrears or at such intervals as approved by the board. 9, to consider and if thought fit, pass with or without modifications the following subjoined resolutions as an ordinary resolution. I, that subject to obtaining the approval of the relevant regulatory authorities, the directors of the company be and are hereby authorized to raise capital of up to 10 billion naira by way of rights issue through the issuance of ordinary shares on such terms and conditions and at such time as the directors may deem fit or determine. I, that the company be and is hereby authorized to increase its share capital from 1,102,309,954 to 1,347,309,954, or to otherwise increase its share capital to an amount sufficient to accommodate the rights issue. I, the directors be and are hereby authorized to appoint such professional parties and perform all such acts as may be necessary to give effect to the above resolutions, including with or without limitation, complying with directives of any regulatory authority. Number 10, to consider and if thought fit, pass the following as a special resolution. That clause 6 of the company's memorandum of association be amended to reflect the new share capital of 1,347,309,954 by the increase and addition of 490 million ordinary shares of 50 kobo each, ranking pari passu with the company's existing ordinary shares, bringing the company's total share capital to 1,347,309,954, made up of 2,694,619,907 issued ordinary shares of 50 kobo each. By order of the board, dated this 28th day of March 2024, is Shufuapa, Acting Company Secretary. Note. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And on this note, let me state that we appreciate your resolution that we should consider this as taken as read. But notwithstanding, I want to refer us to pages 6 to 9 of the annual report and the financial statement for the financial year 31st December 2023 for myself, which, with your kind permission, will be taken as read too. Right. Thank you very much. We appreciate. In accordance with the provision of Section 301, subsection 8 of the Company and Allied Matters Act 2023, I want to inform members that the register showing director shareholder is available for inspection during the meeting. The register of all members generally is also available by citing by members. Independent auditors report. I will now ask the representative of the auditors, Mr. Ernest Young, to read the report of the auditors on the account, which has earlier been circulated to all members in compliance with the statutory requirements. Ernest Young, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, esteemed shareholders. With your kind permission, I'll go through the abridged version of the opinion. Thank you very much. The auditor's opinion is on pages 97 to 100 of the annual report. I read. Independent auditors report to members of the Nigerian Exchange Group PLC. Report on the audit of the consolidated and separate financial statements. Opinion. We have audited the consolidated and separate financial statements of NGL PLC, the company, and its subsidiaries, together the group, which comprise the consolidated and separate statements of financial position as at 31st December 2023, the consolidated and separate statements of comprehensive income, the consolidated and separate statements of changes in equity, and consolidated and separate statements of cash flows for the year then ended, and a note to the consolidated and separate financial statements, including material accounting information. In our opinion, the company consolidated and separate financial statement gives a true and fair view of the consolidated and separate financial statement of the group and the company as at 31st December 2023, and its consolidated and separate financial performance and consolidated and separate cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with International Financial Reporting Standards, the provisions of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, and in compliance with the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria Amendment Act 2023. Basis of opinion, we conducted our audit in accordance with international standard on auditing. Our responsibility under those standards are further described in the auditor's responsibilities of the audit of the consolidated and separate financial statements section of our report. We are independent of the group and the company in accordance with International Ethics Standard Board for Accountants, International Code of Ethics for Professional Accountants, including International Independence Standards, that's the iceberg code, together with the ethics requirements that are relevant to our audit of the consolidated and separate financial statements in Nigeria. And we have fulfilled our other ethical requirements in accordance with those requirements and the iceberg code. We believe that the audit evidence we have obtained is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis of our opinion. So I take us to page 100 on the concluding paragraph. Reports on other legal and regulatory requirements. In accordance with the requirements of the 5th schedules of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, we confirm that we have obtained all the information and explanation which, to the best of our knowledge and belief, were necessary for the purpose of our audit. In our opinion, proper books of accounts have been kept by the group and the company insofar as it appears from the examination of those books. The consolidated and separate statement of financial position and the consolidated and separate statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income are in agreement with the books of accounts. And in our opinion, the consolidated and separate financial statements have been prepared in accordance with the provisions of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, so as to give a true and fair view of the state of affairs and financial performance of the company and its subsidiaries. In accordance with the requirement of the Financial Reporting Council, FRC, guidance on assurance engagement, report on internal control over financial reporting. We performed a limited assurance engagement and reported on management assessment of the company's internal control over financial reporting as at 31st December 2023. The work performed was done in accordance with international standard on assurance engagement and other audit or review of historical financial information, ISAE 3000 reverse, and the FROC guidance on assurance engagement report on internal control over financial reporting. And we have issued an unmodified opinion in our report dated 1st of March 2024. This report is included in the financial statement. This is signed by myself, Kanayo Ichena, 1st of March 2024. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much, Kanayo from Ernst & Young. I will now proceed to ask the chairman of the Statutory Audit Committee, Mr. Samuel Adejumo, to read the report of the Audit Committee, which has been earlier circulated to all members in compliance with statutory requirements. Mr. Adejumo, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Distinguished shareholders, ladies and gentlemen, with your kind permission, please, I wish to stand on all existing protocols as I present the Audit Committee's report. Thank you. To the members of Nigerian Exchange Group PLC, in accordance with the provisions of Section 404, Subsection 7 of the Companies and Other Matters Act of 2020, we, the members of the Statutory Audit Committee of Nigerian Exchange Group PLC, that is the company, having carried out our statutory functions under the Act, hereby report that A, the accounting and reporting policies of the company are in accordance with legal requirements and agreed with ethical practices. B, the scope and planning of both the external and internal audit for the year ended 31st December 2023 are satisfactory. C, the internal audit programs are extensive and provide a satisfactory evaluation of the efficiency of the internal control systems. And D, having deliberated with the independent auditor, who confirmed that necessary cooperation was received from management in the course of our statutory audit, and having reviewed the independent auditor's memorandum of recommendations on accounting procedures and internal control matters, we are satisfied with management's responses thereon. Finally, we acknowledge the cooperation of management and staff in the conduct of our duties. Members of the Statutory Audit Committee are 1. Mr. Samuel Adejumo, Chartered Accountant Stockbroker, Chairman of the Audit Committee, Shareholders Representative. Mr. Peter Eyanuku, Extensive Audit Committee Experience, Shareholders Representative. Mr. Mike Itegboje, Stockbroker, Shareholders Representative. Thank you. Mrs. Ojinika, Mrs. Ojinika Olagere, Chartered Accountant, Banker, and Board Member. Number 5, Dr. Okeshuku Itai, Chartered Accountant, Stockbroker, and Banker, and Board Director. Signed by my humble self, Samuel Adejumo. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Adejumo. We'll now proceed with the business of the meeting. Voting will be by electronic voting device. We now call on the registrar to explain the procedure for the voting, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, esteemed shareholders. Please be informed that we have captured a total of 235 shareholder voting details received by proxy prior to the commencement of this meeting, totaling 1.1 billion units of shares, which represents 52% of the company's issued shares. 1,139,926,802 units of shares, to be precise. As you vote on the resolutions, the voting results will be inclusive of these pre-captured votes. As the chairman announced, voting will be done through the use of the electronic voting device. After the resolution has been read out, shareholders are expected to cast their votes using this device. We have prepared a short video that would guide you on how to use the device. Kindly watch, please. Thank you.
Thank you, registrars.
This video is on how to use the electronic voting pad device. Voting pad usage instructions. Please note that the device is only required during the voting session of this meeting. How to use the voting device. Press the Sign In button to activate the voting device. When the status indicator flashes red, the device is ready for use. Press the Yes button to vote in favor of a resolution, or press the No button to vote against a resolution. Only press the ABS button if you do not wish to vote on a resolution. Please press only one of the buttons to cast your vote. You have only 1 minute to vote for each resolution. However, if you press the Yes or No button more than once, the last button pressed before the end of the voting period will be registered as your vote. Please return the e-voting devices to the ushers after the voting session has been concluded. An alarm will be triggered at the exit points if you still have the voting device with you when you leave the meeting hall. Kindly check your pocket and bag to ensure that the device is returned.
Okay, thank you very much. I believe we have the voting devices in our hands. Some say yes, some said no. Okay, they have filled some proxy forms. Okay, that's it. Okay, thank you very much. I think you should share from here. So I now lay and present the annual report and audited financial statement for the year ended December 30th, 2023. But I will first invite any questions related to that. Like the way I mentioned earlier, this meeting is being handled hybrid. To receive and present the annual report and audited financial statement for the year ended December 31st, 2023. Which I will now invite some questions from shareholders. So we have some on the online because of the network. If you wouldn't mind, let me just take one from there, then I can take the one that are physical. So can you give the line to Patrick Ajudua? Is Patrick there? He's not there? Patrick? Okay. Avoid that. But it seems that we can just proceed. Let me start with Chief Nwosu, please. But you can sit down, sir. So can you give the microphone to him?
Mr. Chairman, good morning or afternoon. Well, I cannot stop calling you the name I named you, Keremi Umaru. So I want to congratulate you for giving out your daughter last week. Congratulations. That is always the wishes of a man, a good father, to give out a child. However, I came to this meeting because of what is burning my heart. What are you doing about all the companies delisting from the exchange? You know. Last time when we came here for a seminar, Good Time told us so many things. But up to today, we have a company that delisted either through court order and promised to pay us something. Up to today, we have not received it. And I don't know how this NGX is protecting us as shareholders. So we need to hear from you. You know we have come a long way. This is my 52nd years on the stock exchange. So we've come a long way. You remember during the time of effort when you used to climb step and up and down. So you have to give us security and make sure that our money is safe. Anybody that wants to delete is easy in, easy out, but must do the needful to be allowed to go. We are not safe when you see all these companies getting out of the stock exchange. I believe in the stock exchange, and that's why I am old there. I remember right from the time, from the foundation of this building to the last floor, I was in charge of it. But I'm happy being here. So we want that assurance from stock exchange. I am not happy with the adamant operation of Nigerian Stock Exchange on companies that wishes to leave, there are conditions. Make sure that those conditions are met so that we will benefit that we are. And you see, when they leave the exchange, they are moving to the other place that is not quoted to. So what do we do about all these things? I'm getting worried about it. And I don't want to live as investing on NGX. 52 years is no joke. I know nothing else than NGX. And therefore, NGX must ensure that they do the right thing to protect us. Mr. Chairman, I want to congratulate you again. We've been friends. You have been my own brother from Gombe. Thank you very much. The name is Sonny Wosu. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sasoni Wosu. I believe we will take 2 other questions, but I want to assure you that we are the NGX too. We are worried but not disturbed because of what you are going to hear from the group CEO. We are working and we are making sure that at the end of this AGM, at least you have that comfort that the people that you entrusted this leadership with, we are not sleeping too. But you'll be rest assured that at the end of the day, we are on the same level with you. Thank you very much for not only coming, but for the commendation. We are not taking that for granted. And the years that you have, that faith, that trust and confidence will continue to prove that to you going forward, God's willing. So let me take 2 other questions. Group CEO, please take note on the issue of the delisting. Tambari, please.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Board of Directors, my colleague shareholders present here, our leader, Sasoni Nwosu. I still pray for you good health, long life, and prosperity. Nwosu is doing well to us in the capital market, so we won't forget him. My name is Kabiru Abdullahi Tambari, shareholder from Sokoto State. Mr. Chairman, I would like to start commending our board by paying dividend to us, final dividend of 75 kobo. You pay us interim dividend, which for a while no dividend. And also our shares is still appreciating at the capital, at the stock exchange. So I know if the company is not doing well, definitely market will react. I know we have cannibals kind of people here. I will start with Alhaji Umaru Kweranga, Sarkin Fulani Gombe. The kind of contribution he's doing since Ashaka, up to Tangerine APT pension, up to some other stocks where he is. If he is not doing the right thing, no matter how he's my brother, I will fear my creator to say the truth because all are watching me. Secondly, I will appreciate seeing Mr. Nonso Okpala into the board. I know Nonso Okpala for some years ago because we serve in one company, Africa Prudential PLC. He is my chairman as chairman of the audit committee, and me, I'm a member. So I know the kind of contribution Nonso is doing up to the time he resigned by himself when he joined BFD Group. Because of the nature of work, busy he is. And I see he just appointed recently in CSCS. Nonso, keep it up. We are going to watch you. Anything we are seeing, if you haven't do the right thing, we have to call you in order. But I know, God willing, Nonso is a businessman because he came from HH, and I know the kind of things he is doing. Mr. Chairman, I won't take much of your time. I want to appeal to the board also to confirm Jude Chimeka from acting capacity because I know the kind of contribution Jude did in United Securities Limited, one of the subsidiaries of United Capital. I know him there as an MD. I know the kind of contribution he did in the stockbroking firm. So since then, when I come for Transcorp Power listed last month, I just find him here. So please, I, Kabiru Tambari, as a shareholder, I know the kind of contribution Jude did in United Securities Limited. I'm appealing to you as a shareholder to confirm him from acting capacity to substantive CEO. Thank you, and God bless us.
Thank you very much, Alaji Kabir Tambari. I believe it's part of the process that we are doing, and you be rest assured we are on the same level. So, but necessary procedures need to be followed, and we'll definitely do that. So, please, I will come back to you people here. I want to shift to the right and shift to the left, then I'll come back here. Please, can you say your name? Yes, go ahead, please.
My name is Okunla Emmanuel Olarewaju, a shareholder of NGX. I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak on this AGM. Number one, I want to say that I want to thank you for the full disclosure of financial statement of my view as an accountant is very credible. On page, open to page 39, 139, note 1, note 10. Total income, 11.8 billion. Total expenses, 11.37 billion. Secondly, interest expense on borrowing is very huge, not good for the business profitability, of 2.34 billion, representing an increase of over last year, expenses. Every expenses in your book of accounts increases from last year. How do you curtail the expenses to give your book added value and shareholders expected return? Thirdly, on page 174, director's profile, statutorily disclosed, very credible, and we have a lot of beautiful faces on the board. Next thing, the employee in the payroll reduced from 139 to 132 during the accounting year, yet the staff expenses increased on page 140. Your subsidiary listed in the books of accounts. How effective are these subsidiary? Page 163 and 149. Then provision made on legal proceeding for 95 cases on the exchange, between the exchange and the other customers. They are material, the cases are many, and the provision is material. But as against the management sense of judgment, I want you to view it very well. Second, your oversight function in monitoring company's performance and AGM proceeding, we see this day is lacking due to the rowdiness in conducting audit committee election in AGMs. I want you to look into it. Then also, lastly, cash-craft brokers, they are no more in they have closed up. We see that these brokers, they have sold some shares of shareholders unknown. So I want you to help us as shareholders, you yourself as shareholders, to help us to look into it. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. Before I go to Nona, let me specially introduce the chairman of one of our subsidiaries, OPCO, Mr. Ahonsi Lugbe, who just got in. Can you stand up for the goodness? Thank you. Thank you very much. So, Nona Awo, please.
Thank you. The chairman, very distinguished fellow shareholders, I can see a couple of persons standing. So I will also thank them for standing. Other directors, I first must thank you because at the last AGM, one of the things that was very strong on had to do with you not paying dividends. Then suddenly I saw an interim dividend smuggled in, and I said, okay, let me watch what will come after the smuggling. Now that you have come out properly, it's expected that this will not be the end of dividend payment. And since you also listed on the market, I'm also sure that you relate that to what the returns of shareholders will be. But much more importantly, I didn't realize your strength as an unlicensed politician. You know, there are two classes of politicians. Apologies to minister next to me. Because you spent 10 minutes, and the 10 minutes you spent, I thought it was a rally that we are, but we'll leave that for another day. Let me say that I will just run through areas I think that you need to look out for. It doesn't look like it used to be. First is the fact that the structure that we currently carry is a structure that we need to relook if we want to survive and if we want to make the expected returns to the other shareholders. And I said the other shareholders because one of the answers I've heard from directors is to say, oh, I'm also a shareholder. But when the directors get sitting allowance, get fees before they wait for dividends, even when the dividend don't come, it probably will not matter. So one major thing that you must begin to look at is to look at the structure that we're carrying. Because the way this structure is very heavy at the top. And if it's very heavy at the top, anytime that the market and the economy does not run right, the people who will suffer are the small shareholders. So it's something that you must look at. Interestingly, when they were doing all of this, fortunately for me, I was in the market before Sonny Ngosu, so I don't know how long I've stayed. So I will be hoping that we need to look at all of this again. Because when they were coming up with all of this, some of those, this one of the danger of where we are headed, or where we are headed. And without saying much on that, one of the things, again, if you look at this account, sitting allowance alone, 330 million plus. Just to a pointer to why you need to look at this structure. And in looking at this structure, I also will be hoping that you will list going forward. And I'm saying this because we are running an holdco up, that is what we're running. And the biggest abuses on our market today have come from the holdcos. We have big boys who don't have regards for rules because they probably think they are close to you. Some of us are small, but anybody who doesn't do it right will take them on. So, but you need to begin to show example for other people to follow because everybody else is listed here. So you don't behave like one government that I know. The president will be outside the country. The vice president will be outside the country. And then you leave the country in the hand of the children. And you know what can happen. So please help. Because if you don't help this market, not only in the firmness as to the decision that you take and the direction in which you point the market to, you may before long not have a market. You may not have a market, and we need to be mindful of. So one of the things you must also begin to do is not to say you have a 6-man board. If you have 12 subsidiaries, you must list all members of those subsidiaries, and all of them will not take you more than one page. Because one of the things some of us have seen in one of the banks that is troubled today in terms of board struggle and board squabble is the fact that even house help secretaries are made directors and they are all concealed. So if you don't do it, like I said, and interestingly, the way the market is going, a number of foreign investors have information on us that we never imagined were available. So what they'll begin to, those Nigerians, don't mind them. When they set up board, it's an Owambe party that they have set up. And I don't think that is the way you want to go. It's also important that we do disclosures around pay and succession. Because every system that have succeeded have succeeded because they are proper structure. And that structure, if he excludes succession, there will be challenge. I'm not going to ask you to confirm anybody or promote anybody. That is not my responsibility. My responsibility is to look at the policies and how you execute the policies that you have put in place. Probably I should have done a disclosure. By the way, of all the subsidiaries and the group, no member of my family works here. So I can speak emphatically as to what you are not doing right. The other area I also think that you must take additional interest is what the contribution of the group, the contribution of the company to the group. Because some of us have also seen a situation because the company is where the chief executive is situated. And they give instructions to everybody. And you then turn out it's monkey they walk, bamboo they chop. That again, some of us will not allow. But not just for you, you must also make sure that it's a structure that also leads other companies to what they should be doing. Interestingly, in a number of developed markets today, there's a distance between the lowest paid and the highest paid. Unfortunately, the auditor sat in front of me. I thought I was fully protected, but he ran away after he gave his reports. But I'll look for him and I'll catch him after the meeting. Because even in this account, with due respect, and I'll point him to page 140. Yes, I know accountants usually don't do very well in English, just like lawyers don't do very well in mathematics. But when you owe lawyers, the arithmetic and mathematics will come to fore. If you have on page 140, it says ranges in terms of pay on the bottom of that page. And what you then allow to be printed, again with due respect, is 10 million and above. That's an abuse of disclosure. Give all the breakdowns, but much more importantly, which may be a challenge from the company, nothing is stated here as to the highest paid director. Yes, I know one of the answers that directors are quick at giving, the law does not provide it. That is not going to be the case here, because there is also, what's it called now? Share option. If there's also share option, you must disclose. Because everybody that is buying any company is basically buying information. So when you provide passports in terms of information, and the man needs portrait to be able to take decision, he will take decision, and that decision will eventually turn out wrong. And when it then turns out wrong, like some of us have seen in 2008 and 2009, you are going to damage the image and reputation of the organization much more. And some persons will leave here and they will never come back. So we have a whole lot of effort to be made. And it's also in that light, again, looking at other countries, even when you have the Chinese war, the biggest stabilizer of any exchange is regulation. So we must strengthen our regulation. We must give them all the powers. We must avoid interference. If I come before a panel and I've been told I misbehaved, if I'm not satisfied, you have appeal process. If the appeal process, again, does not get political, because one of the things some of us have seen, fortunately, I'm probably one of the longest serving on one of the panels. Interference, people who want all sorts of manipulation from outside. Please stay out of it. Let us have an exchange that is properly run, because that is the only way we'll be standing after today. Let me close on the note of what you must also not do, with due respect. I don't know everything, but the little that I know, I will tell you. Please don't get involved in shareholders' politics. Never get involved. If you have elected your directors who sit on the committee, please allow the other shareholders to appoint who they want, to elect who they want to sit on the audit committee. I'm saying this because when I walked in, that is one of the things that 2 shareholders confronted me with. And I will not be able to sleep well if I know that something is not right and I keep quiet. On that note, I want to thank the management first and foremost. Though I've also seen a lot of changes, we need to also have some level of stability in terms of staff. Because come to think about it, you don't get experience in any exchange in Nigeria other than 2 other ones. So we need to keep the people that we have. That is not to say if they misbehave, we must keep them. They must be upright in what they do, and in being upright, we also must support them. So on that note, I want to thank directors who have served and exited, But I'm hoping that we also get policies around the directors who are here. Tenure system is key. Again, talking about succession. Haven't thanked them. I must also thank, since I have the privilege of sitting next to somebody who is representing the old generation. Some of us were here when some persons made contributions to make that this exchange does stand, including donation or whatever from Central Bank of Nigeria. But all of these will only mean something tomorrow if we continue to do the best that we can do to make sure that this institution gets better, and then it becomes a toast, not only for Nigerians, but a toast for the world. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you very, very much, Nona Awo. I say I have to come back to the middle, and I think in view of the time, I can take only 3 now going forward. Please. I wish I could get a lady, but that notwithstanding. If it was on the virtual, do you have anybody still on the virtual that want to speak? So that we can encourage this hybrid system. Is Pat?
Hello, Chairman. Somebody at the other room want to speak. And that person is no other person but High Chief. High Chief Ajay Robert Ige.
Chief.
Yes.
Chief, we do respect. I want to just clarify that there's nobody on the virtual so that we can be able to come back. I've seen some of our chiefs that are here. Chief, just sit down. I'll call you, sir, even out of respect. I will include you, sir, please. So, okay. Patrick, can you hear us? Patrick? Sorry, please, I'm coming. Can you unmute, please, Patrick? I think we'll come back to him. So I will take Oladimeji, I will take you, Chief, then I'll come back to Boniface, then I'll go lastly to the High Chief. Give him the microphone, please. Chief, I'm coming. Chief, I'm coming, please. Just cool. We'll give everybody a chance.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Distinguished board members, regulators, and shareholders. Adio A. Alex is the name, Mr. Chairman. I'm delighted to be here, and I'm going to be as brief as possible. I want to align myself with the good points that cut across the benefit of all shareholders, and especially the NGX being the leader in Africa. But that notwithstanding, I want to quickly re-emphasize the need to appreciate those directors that are exiting, the GMD, Oscar Oyema, and others that has left with the retirement. So I pray that the Lord will be with them. And I equally want to say you have done well. You have robust succession plan, which I think other companies operating under NGX should follow suit. And that leads me quickly to the notice of meeting to equally appreciate the new GMD, Mr. Temi Pokuola, whose appointment we are going to ratify this morning. Without each, at least we can see what is happening here. And I quickly package 7 to 13. That is the chairman's statement and the MD's statement. I think I marvel at this statement, Mr. Chairman. You have helped yourself to enumerate your points and blow the trumpets. So I'm not going to reemphasize anything there. But permit me to move quickly to page number 45 and 46, which is just the highlight. 45 and 46, if I can get there quickly. I'm almost there. Yes. Page 45. I start from the group financial highlights, Mr. Chairman. And when you look at this graph, you can see that 22-23 looks good in terms of income. But when you look at the graph, you see that I'm looking at other operating income. That is an addition that actually swells us up. So we need to look at that area very well so that deficiency in whatever area will not affect us when next we are coming up. The expenses, Mr. Chairman, when you look at it, you see the interest expense on borrowing, 20.58%. That is a junk, and it's not so very good for the NGX as the leader. And why am I saying this? I want to quickly align that to the special business. That is 9 and 10. That is the permission you are taking this morning to raise 10 billion. And I'm sure we are going to give you that permission. You actually need it. And I believe by the time you are able to realize this, via rights, which will be beneficiary to all of us, I think it's going to be better. I want to see a situation whereby your dividend payment will be consistent, and you can shout at others that you are regulating, that what are you doing? Let me stop at this. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Adio. Boniface, welcome to Oladimeji.
Good afternoon, all protocols duly observed. My name is Adeleke Oladimeji. The result we are looking at today is a very fantastic one, and I want to commend the board and management that made these results happening. But one thing I would like us to look at is that, first of all, we said our mission statement, we said we want to become a preferred exchange in Africa. And due to my own observation, Nigerian NGX has been a preferred exchange in Africa for over a decade. Is that we are number 1 or we are number 2? At present, we are number 2. So I want to challenge the board. Why can't we get out of our comfort zone and become a preferred exchange in the world? One of the best 10 in the world. That is what we should be looking at. We should not be comfortable with Africa alone. And we have been in Africa for a long time. Also looking at this account, I look at page 138. So on page 138, we have the consolidated separate financial statement in which our property management business, we are able to generate just only 279 million. This amount is too small for this company. And if you look down, you look at, we have other expenses. Out of these 279 million that we are able to generate, we have over 235 million over other expenses. So this business is having a challenge. And property business is a big business. So what are you doing to turn the business management, the property management around? This is supposed to be a cash cow. Even all the small companies that are selling land in Banana Island, they are making billions. So an exchange, a quoted company with this reputation should not be generating 279 million. That is also one of the areas I would like to talk about. Also, lastly, I would not like to take too much of our time. What are you doing to quoted companies that are delisting, that are going to OTC? We are sick and tired of all these things. Just realize the company said they are delisting and things like that. This is not the best. We should be looking for a way which we bring more companies to list. Please, one thing, I come from a royal family. So in a royal family, they said a king should not use his sword on someone. That should just dangle the sword like this. It's meant for people. It should serve as a warning sign to people. It is not what you use on people. So most of these companies, when we ask them why do they exchange, why we want to delete, why we want to go to OTC, the response they gave us from NGX is not too pleasant. It's not too pleasant about how our law is so harsh and draconian on them, how things have been make them to. So let's make it flexible. Let me just advise us. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Oladimeji. Boniface, please. Chief Boniface Okezi.
The chairman of NGX Group PLC, Dr. Maro Kwaranga, the Sarikin Fulani of Gombe, our own brother for ages. Other fellow directors of great company, I can see my sister Ojinika is here. His Excellency, the former Deputy Governor of Enugu State, Ifeanyi Etani, Doctor. A whole lot of them is here. Experienced people. Mr. Chairman, what you are doing in this market is applaudable. You can't change your character. You must remain whom you are. You have been known with shareholder, and shareholder have been knowing you. So when they come anyway, celebration, they will celebrate you. Don't be diminished when you see them. It's your consequence. And that's the only political party you belong to. I don't see you belong to APC or PDP. So anybody should not tell you you should not mingle with shareholders. You must continue fraternize with them because that's where you're coming from. That's the truth. As long as you don't interfere in any other thing, your own is to cheer and make sure this company grows. Before we don't have dividend, but today we have paid 1 naira in all. So, Mr. Chairman, it's commendable. Knowing where we are coming from, the mutualization just took place a few years ago, and I believe with whom you are, you know the politicians as well, even if they are not the politicians. In the business circle, you must go around to bring business. The era of armchair board is over. And if you are here as Kwaranga, you can't get business to where you are presiding as a chairman, then you are not living up to expectation. So be versatile in every area and making sure that this company grow their balance sheet and pay more higher dividend. That is all the chairman is all about. So to justify the sitting allowance they're paying you, it must go out there. And every directors must contribute for the growth of the company. It's not the issue of attending board. Go out and bring business, so support the management. That's all we can leverage and pay higher dividend. Mr. Chairman, this is a listening board. When we had a win that Oscar is existing, and which existed March, because the report we are considering she belonged to Oscar. Temi Popola, this year ending 2024 will be a scorecard. We shall, approve and appraise how your performance is. But you have started well. We have seen the move you are making already. We cannot rule out that you did not participate in this account. But I know your tenure will be more greater than that Oscar. Because when Daddy Amotere, I told Chairman, I called him personally, that look, we don't have to go outside to recruit. Popola, Henry was the NGX other one, regulator, was doing very well. And I said we must look onto him to appoint. And this board went back, and I confirmed him. Because somebody, the acting is Chuku is acting. I don't have confidence in any acting capacity. If somebody have done well and the board have praised, confirm him substantial, and that's why they can do well. Even those who are doing business here will not have confidence in you when your key principal officers are acting. There's no way they can do business, So if our company secretary is doing well, let it be confirmed and do the job. He's a young guy. He also not, he should have a room to improvement. We should confirm him, Mr. Chairman. That is what we believe. Mr. Chairman, if you look at page 85 of the board attendance, it's very commendable. I have to, page 85 is very, very commendable. And I've seen this, both Board Risk and Audit Committee, Board of Governance and Remuneration Committee, Board Strategies and Finance Investment Committee. The chairman is not there. That's the corporate governance. You appoint to be a member. So chairman has separated himself for 9 years and concerned himself as a chairman, directing the ship of the board. And if the board fell, we hold the chairman responsible that the board have not been performed. So, Mr. Chairman, I commend you that there's a good corporate governance because people look to us as NGX. We have NGX regulator, but we are the parent, the father. So you must also live up to expectation where others will emulate, even the company that listed at this floor. Mr. Chairman, one thing I also want to commend the board. We have not gone to hotel to hire, but today that money have been conserved. So if you have a hall of our own here, and other people come here to host far behind the figures in our hall, we should also make use of this hall. Those are standing, I don't think there are any shareholders standing here today. Every shareholder attending this meeting are seated. Those could be the ushers and the members of the staff here who have a great occasion. So they should stand because the owners are seated down. That's how it should. That money we have conserving them. So if there's any good gift, you give to shareholders who agree this meeting today because we didn't pay to the hotel. I asked to hire this hall. That's how it should be. Is it also, Mr. Shareholders?
Hello. Chairman. Hello.
Hold on, Patrick. Hold on, Patrick, please. Ajuda, hold on.
Mr. Chairman, if you go to page 81, you stated clearly when this board member current are serving cumulative years of service. That is transparency, disclosing. Chairman said 2 years and 10 months. That's the chairman would. Other one you served before. Other directors 7 months, 2 years, 10 months, 2 years, 10 months. That's old board members. Other new ones have 7 months. That's a good disclosure when they are appointed.
Yeah,
These are full disclosure with the mind. And it is here transparency. This is not a secret call. This is not, who is that? Mr. Chairman, these are corporate disclosure. And the chairman cannot be found wanting in living up to expectation. Ozube, please. Mr. Chairman, we can also see financial highlight. Financial highlight in page 46 and page 45. These are okay, Mr. Chairman. We are growing. We are growing. I am happy on the total assets, 39.10 billion. That's our company is growing in leap and bound. A company that have this strong balance sheet assets, it's not a one-man business show. Mr. Chairman, I believe that today, as a group, we have having diversification, properties, real estate. We should go in there. Even platform that other financial institutions can borrow, we can create it, or payment. These are things where bank cannot, for example, if banks should not have such platform, HN can provide platform for payment to them, you know. CSS is doing very well. It's our nature, our own created baby, and it's doing very well. Mr. Chairman, I am also frowned that SEC compare us to have little for 25% on CSS. We should be able to grow more, to earn dividend from there, and to pay for the group. Not us not to water down what you had before. We created it, it's our own company. Mr. Chairman, we should also create more subsidiary to the group. That's why you have demutualization. Any business compete with the banks, compete with other insurance companies, and create more room for us to have more earning and grow it. When you have 2 naira per something earning and you pay 1 naira, may plug back into 1 naira 43 kobo. That is also good returning, because you don't pay all out. You have to save for the rainy days. I want to commend you for what you have done, not to pay out all your earnings, but we need to grow more than that 2 naira something earning. That's the only way we can pay higher dividend. Mr. Chairman, I want to tell the staff of NGX, they are doing very well, the group. Even somebody says you should not interfere how you promote or not. When we speak here, the board will take it to home to do the needful. All those who are, even NGX Limited, we should also look at them as considered advice to promote them, so that there are no murmuring among the groups. When somebody have done very well, you reward him. There have no rancor. They work with harmony and growth of the organization. So look at those directions and promote our people so that they will do well, contribute to the group. In overall, hey, finally, Mr. Chairman, on page 75, that's my final, page 75, donations. That donations did not take care of less privilege and orphanage. That's the elite. But I thank God that you, and Action, CIS, developing the market. These are people who are contributed for the group of these people. Remembering them is not misplaced. I want to commend you, because that's their consequence. They have done very well. If they have not done well, I could reserve for giving that donations. When they are doing program I write to you and you have, you give to them. And they are still relevant in the market. I want to commend, but remember the less privilege. When you are doling out donations, remember them. Their prayer will go a long way. I'm sure that this company retain the growth we needed. I want to commend all the board members. You are sound. Everybody is sound. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Boniface. Chief, before I come to you and the other lady, I'm going to take only two, the chief and the lady, but let me call Patrick.
Good afternoon.
Patrick, go ahead, please.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman.
Good afternoon, go ahead.
And members of the board, good afternoon. My name is Patrick Ajudwa. I wish to stand on all existing protocol. First, it's not out of sight to know that since your assumption as the chairman of NGX, the organization has been growing from strength to strength. We thank you for your versatility. We thank you for your integrity. We thank you for your composure. And we also thank you for how far you have led the organization. To us, we believe that it's just a starting point, that NGX under your tenure will become, an enviable exchange to be liked by other exchanges, not only in Africa, but in the entire world. Also, Mr. Chairman, I really want to also thank Mr. Oscar, who have done tremendously well. We pray for his future endeavor. And I want to commend the appointment of Mr. Temi Pokuola as a replacement for Mr. Oscar as NGX Group CEO and his subsequent election as chairman of CSCS. It is an attestation to his track record of achievement and global market growth and operational excellence. It is our expectation that with steadfastness, dedication, commitment, teamwork, it will be able to build a very strong exchange that will foster innovation and uphold the height of standard, both in integrity and in excellence. Mr. Chairman, my question to you is to tell us your outlook for 2024. How you intend to position the exchange as a frontier for excellence and an emulation for all other exchanges. Also, Mr. Chairman, I want to commend the various achievements the NGX has gotten under you. The equity on page 121, on page 26 rather, equity listing and ROE IHCS 183. We saw also 68 memorandum listing, 190 fixed income, and 12 exchange traded fund. It is not a mean achievement. It is to us a testament of who you are and also a testament of the fact that we are very resolute to take the exchange to another level. On page 22 is the issue of the launch of star 5474 hash in November 2023. This has never been achieved since exchange came on. It is under your tenure and under the tenure of the current board and management led by Mr. Temi. That exchange, that code, I tested it and I saw that it is to enhance retail investors' participation in Nigerian capital market. This underscores the commitment to foster financial inclusion and innovation in Nigeria. So I urge all fellow shareholders to utilize this code because it is one of the codes that has brought a real transformation in terms of technology. On page 23, Mr. Chairman, I commend all your key achievements during the year, the VDF listing, the NDF listing, the MACOR listing, market performance, derivative launch, digital innovation, too numerous to mention. We cannot say but to thank Alhaji Paranga, the Seriki Fulani, and also the management of NGX Group for a wonderful work. It is our prayer that under your tenure, the NGX will continue to grow and grow and grow strongly. Finally, is the issue of dividend. We thank you for giving us an interim dividend of 25 and a final dividend of 75 kobo. It is our expectation that come ending of 2024 next year, we will be able to surpass this feat. But in doing that, Mr. Chairman, on page 143, please look at it, how you address the ECL allowance on trade receivable. It's quite huge, and the effort must be made to see how we can recover disputed amount of over 150 million, which is in connection with purchases of share on behalf of NSC and CS Multipurpose Cooperation Society. I want to express my profound happiness and joy at allowing me to speak and to assure you that all resolution will be passed and we are waiting for you to come for your right issue for us to take up our right. We hope and we have that strong belief of a new NGX under your tenure. God bless you, and God bless all of us.
Thank you very much, Patrick. And let me assure you that before you leave this venue, you are going to get your, once we pass the approval of the dividend, everybody is going to get his alert for his dividend at this venue. So let me go to High Chief, please.
Good morning, sir.
Please, you can sit down, sir, please. You can.
I want to stand up.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Because it's a long time I saw you last. The last time I saw you was in Gombe at the meeting of Lafarge. That day, the Emir of Gombe dashed Sasoni Nwosu, a wife. But Sasoni did not take the wife along after the meeting. So I want to see you. Thank you very much. My name is Chief Timothy Adeshiyon, the immediate past president of Nigerian Shareholder Solidarity Association, formed by late Asiwaju Akintunde Asalu of blessed memory. Thank you very much. I appreciate the growth of NGX and all that you are putting forward to us. I'm suggesting something today, and that is the provision of this annual report by NGX should be adopted for the purposes of other companies' annual report, because it is an ipse class, a class by itself. There are so many things in it. The disclosure is so fantastic, and most of these things, when you ask of it from other companies, they will tell you the law has not asked them to provide that information. But when you see it in this NGX report, you can always refer them to it. Go and see what NGX itself declared. I will appreciate your disclosures on page 141. Page 141 is operating expenses. Nobody grumbles about operating expenses getting higher or getting lower, but at least disclose it. And what is paramount is the fact that the first disclosure on that page is annual general meeting expenses. If you want to injure the feelings of a company secretary, ask him or her to declare the total cost of annual general expenses. There and then you become their enemies. But now that you have shown this by example, I much appreciate it, and I will like it to be adopted as a standard for other companies to follow. I appreciate also that the bank charges, which was 19.9 billion in the previous year, yes, came down to 13.5 billion in the new year. The same thing with audit fees, which is very wonderful. It was 40.3 million in the previous year, and this year is 27.5 million. How this has happened, I don't know. and what you have used to speak with them, because their own is always forward ever, backward ever, even when the shareholders are not receiving anything. So I appreciate this, and also the other expenses, the brand management expenses also, which was 18.8 million in the previous year, came to 4.5 million. Others follow like that, and generally, I say I appreciate the disclosure, and I'm suggesting it to NGX once again, that because of your position, you can influence the kind of reports which we should be coming across in annual reports. I praise the efforts of the board, management, and staff of NGX, and how you have been standing firm with shareholders. The other topic that was mentioned briefly by my friend Sir Sonny Nwosu about companies that delisted but did not pay shareholders did not pay us back our investments. And some of these people are going around in the town and even holding on as directors in other companies. We don't want them to contaminate other companies with this kind of thing. So let them report, let them pay us our outstandings. Whether Nakobo, the money remain, let them pay us. And don't eat the snake and eat the intestines. It is a taboo. So help us follow them up. Thank you. We shall be coming back to you over this and be offering other suggestions to you. We know our old man is here now, and we shall do everything to move near you for the growth of NGS. Thank you. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief Additioner. I'm happy that we are starting with an elder and finishing with an elder. We started with Sir Sonny Nwosu, and I believe we have to round up because the group CEO, which I believe is able, capable to respond to all those questions. He has over 2 pages of those questions. But I can assure you that he's equal to the task and he's going to do justice to all those ones. So please, with due respect, pleading that we should conclude the questions. We allow the group CEO to respond. Let me use this opportunity to at least recognize one of our directors of our subcourse, Azubike, is here. We thought he can stand up for recognition. And other management staff like Tony and Babalola and the rest. Tony, please.
Thank you very much, Chairman. And let me thank all the questions, acknowledge all the questions that have been asked. Chairman, what I've tried to do is to summarize the questions into maybe what I call 3 buckets. I see some questioning generally around the role of the holdco. Maybe you call that strategy of the holdco. I see some questions, number 2, around structure. The structure that we have, the associated expenses with that structure. How are we thinking about that? And then there's a 3rd area, also still internal, around things like our balance sheets, the interest costs, interest expense, things like the ECL allowance, a bit of color. Then away from that, I see some external questions. Questions around outlook, for example, for 2024. Questions around listings and delistings and the like. And then there are a few other questions, but I think if we can address these big buckets, most of the questions will have been covered. And of course, every question that has been asked You can please take that as noted, and we take it as constructive feedback to work on. Let me start with the holdco. What exactly is the structure that we're running? What is the strategy of the holdco? I think, as was said before, this is not the first holding company structure in our country, but of course we are very aware that not just are we a holding company structure, we are the holding company perhaps because of the important role that the exchange plays, and we take that very, very seriously. Now, what is our strategy? Besides what I would say is the fairly obvious, you have subsidiary companies, you have associate companies, you want to make sure that there's synergy, you want to make sure that strategies are aligned, you want to make sure that each of those pieces are not working in silos and they can think together and work together and create value. I would say that perhaps this is maybe, as I see the future, the lowest of the responsibilities that we have. You can call that a BAU, as it were, but it can be the core of what the holdco is doing. I'll speak to 5 things that the holdco really is looking to do strategically. One is a digital transformation journey. And I want to say that if you take anything from today's AGM, it is the fact that there is a digital journey that this group is trying to run, that the exchange is trying to run, and that the holdco is driving. What do I mean? Back to our subsidiaries, you would find that, for example, when we look at our markets, we talk about listings, delistings, deeper markets. One big gap is technology. Look at the broader financial markets. The broader financial market consumes technology. On this phone right now, you can open an account with any of the new digital banks in 1 minute. You download their app. In 1 minute, you will move money from your traditional bank account to that account and vice versa. I tried it. Why are our capital markets not in this direction? And the way to do that then is we're aware that every one of our subsidiaries, of our associate companies, needs to consume technology somehow. And there is no better entity to drive that than the holding company. So what do I mean? For example, we have a unique opportunity in front of us now with the capital exercises that are coming up, the capital raisings that the central bank has announced. Outside of the financial community as well, there have been many capital raises that have been publicly announced, rights issuances, public offers. We want to make sure that for the first time in the history of our market, every single one of those offerings will be digital. And how do we drive that? It means that the operating exchange can speak freely to another associate company, CSCS, for example. It means that those entities can speak to registrars through technology. So without going into too much detail, we will be launching very soon an application that would allow these public offers to be distributed to any Nigerian as long as you have a bank account. So for the first time, you'll sit on your device, log into maybe your bank account, and you'll be able to invest in a public offer with a few button clicks. You'll be able to go to Quick Teller and look in there as you're paying your bill and see that there's an offer that you can invest in. You'll be able to go to any of these digital banks, and as you're doing your business there, be able to invest. You'll be able to come to NGX website, click on a link, and be able to invest. For this journey to happen, the holding company has a digital journey that we're trying to drive, because to drive efficiency and alignment with the subsidiaries, that's where it's best situated. Now, number 2, related to technology. It is very clear to us that the future of this group is technology. Ultimately, this is going to be a very technology-heavy entity, and part of our structure, our strategy then, I think was spoken also, is to create, for example, new subsidiaries. We are looking to have a subsidiary dedicated to technology. Why is this important? When we're building tech products, we want to be able to export those products, for example. We want to be able to think about how to commercialize those products that we are building. We're looking at our exchange. We're saying that there are challenges we face that many other exchanges globally, across Africa in particular, are facing. One example is trading engine. Most exchanges in Africa are paying hardcore dollars for their trading engine. If NGX can solve that problem locally, we can export that across the continent. If we can solve this problem of the primary distribution or the rights distribution I spoke earlier, why can't we take that to Ghana and to Ethiopia and to other exchanges? This is the heart of the second piece of our strategy, which is how do you commercialize technology? How do you build technology solutions that solve problems and that you can commercialize? Number 3 is what I call inorganic growth. We have a very strong strategy. You cannot be Africa's preferred exchange hub being localized. You must have seen publicly the announcement around Ethiopia Stock Exchange. This was a very strategic investment for us, where we go into East Africa. One, of course, we help the continent because we're seen as a big brother as far as capital markets are concerned. We helped the Ethiopian Stock Exchange as they set up their business. Our regulation business was very helpful. Our core exchange was very helpful. But we've invested in that business because, like I spoke earlier, how do you export technology? How do you export best practices? How do you spread the wings across the continent? So there's a big inorganic growth that we are looking to drive, and of course that then brings you to capital. Part of the holdco's responsibility is capital allocation. How do we make sure that each of our entities, our subsidiaries, our associate companies have the capital that they need, that they're allocating that capital properly, and that we're raising that capital optimally, which of course is one of the items on the agenda this morning around the rights issuance. How do we do our balance sheet restructuring and make sure that that is optimized? Two other things very quickly to the holdco strategy. Partnerships, extremely critical for us. We find that, for example, there's a lot of capital out there available for capital markets that we haven't tapped. Many of the DFIs, right, have capital that we can easily plug into around sustainability, for example, around capital market growth. We expect the holdco to be able to enter into very strong, vibrant, resourceful partnerships that bring value to our entire sort of our chain. And then, of course, I spoke about synergy earlier. Now, let me go to, very quickly, the subject of the structure, where, for example, it was said things like the rental income was said it's low, for example, questions around director sitting fees, allowances. I think at the heart of what I would say here, because it's quite a sensitive topic, is this is not lost to, I think, every director that is seated here today. I can say that very, very freely. It's a subject matter that's receiving attention across most of our key stakeholders, and I'm sure that in due course, when we have the right authorizations, we will speak more to that. There's a subject of interest expense. If there's one thing that, you know, I would say maybe keeps us up at night, is the interest expense. You look at the ratio of interest expense to our bottom line, it's almost 30% or 20-something% of the money we earned that we're paying out. It's very, very top of mind and top priority for us. The board is exploring several options that are available to reduce this interest expense, to free up that cash, and be able to, you know, either pay dividends or invest that better. Let me speak quickly then about the outlook for 2024. I am very excited about the outlook. I think that the exchange is very uniquely positioned to take advantage of a government of the day today that is looking for ideas. A government of the day that is looking for solutions and is looking for the ability to solve many of its challenges through capital markets. We are the exchange that has a reach to a broad swath of Nigerians. We are the exchange that has a reach to foreign investors that do business in Nigeria, that have a reach to all the local investors. And I think that when we look at that, whether through the banking sector recapitalization that I spoke about, one of the consumer companies announced a 600 billion naira rights issuance, for example, over the weekend. All of this capital, we're expecting the NGX as a group to be well positioned to drive that, to create value for our country. And I think the outlook from that perspective certainly looks very bright. When I look at the outlook also from an internal perspective as NGX, this is now the 4th year of the journey into demutualization. I'm happy that many stakeholders have left some room that says, look, this is new territory for the entire capital markets. I expect that the outlook will start to show a lot more mature exchange, where we've learned from lessons of the past. We're all sort of working together and able to create value. Still on NGX, the subject of ECL allowance, for example, some of those expected credit losses. What I can tell you is all of those figures have been impaired. They have been impaired, whether these are things around the bonuses that were paid before or the cooperative where shares were bought. Many of them are subjects of legal dispute, and on that basis, we've left them in the books. When those legal cases are over, we can then write off or make some recoveries as is necessary, but all of those have been impaired. On the listings versus delistings, again, it's a subject that we can sit on and speak for a very long time. Part of the reason we're driving this digital strategy is because the subject of listings is two-sided. Companies list because they expect that there will be access to capital. And today, it's very difficult for access to capital because of this lack of digital, this lack of technology. If you think about it today, if I look at the average age of this room, I'm sure there are people, the demography, the young Nigeria is not really represented in our capital markets. They'll buy cryptocurrency, they'll buy real estate, they'll buy everything but our capital markets. So I'm looking forward to a future where our AGM has 24-year-old people all over the room because they really are expecting value. We have, you know, the entire demography. How do we do that? It's through digital, it's through technology. Now, that's one lens of the listing. So you can't bring a corporate to list when the corporate says, I need to raise 50 billion naira, and we can't bring the 50 billion naira easily. On the side of the supply of the corporates, I like the analogy that was used about waving a sword. Back to what we said, the government of the day needs ideas. NGX is trying to look at the broad spectrum. When you think about listings, there's the broad spectrum where you force companies to list. This country did that in the early 1970s, the indigenization policy. The government said companies must list, and it worked. 8 companies became 82 companies by the time that program was done, times 10 on this exchange. Many of the companies today are here because of that exercise, but that's one extreme. The other extreme is the carrot approach, where you beg corporates to list, you sell the idea of listing to them, you tell them that it's good value. Of course, we're struggling with this extreme because, as was said earlier, the rules to listing, the barriers to entry are not so high. But the way one has to think about it is, where in this broad spectrum, in different sectors, in different areas, do you wield this stick? The final point I'll make on the subject of listings is that if you look across the globe, this is a challenge, without underplaying it, that is faced by most exchanges across the globe. JSE is my favorite example. When you look publicly, look at Johannesburg Stock Exchange when President Obasanjo became president in 2009. You look at the number of listings on JSE, it was over 800. Today, as per their publicly available numbers, is under 300. Number of listings. Most markets you go to, you find the same headache. So many exchanges are doing different things to address this. The first thing you ask yourself is, if the absolute count of listings is reducing, how about your market cap? And that's where you see a bit of a positive story, is that while you will have, let's say, 10 companies that delist with an aggregate value of 50 billion naira, you will have 2 companies that list with an aggregate value of maybe 5 trillion naira. That shows a different kind of picture. This is what many exchanges are tracking today. Why is this? There is an alternative asset class called private markets that's getting bigger and bigger and bigger by the day, where people are raising a lot of capital, and they're saying to companies, no need to go to a public exchange. I can give you capital privately that addresses many of these barriers to entry. So when you look at Nigeria, just look at the growth of private equity in our country in the last 5 years. Several private equity companies. In fact, Mr. Garuba, who is one of our market players, also just launched a private equity firm very recently. All of those companies that should list here, that private equity will trap it. Look at Uhuru Capital, $200 million today, AUM. Look at Verod Capital, $400 million, AUM. Look at Actis, very active in Nigeria. Look at Carlyle, they were very active in Nigeria. There's several private equity funds that are looking for companies to back. So globally, private capital is competing with public capital is a new trend. What are exchanges doing, and what are we trying to do? Part of our vertical creation will be a private markets entity. Look at LSE. London says, I want to be the first exchange that doesn't care whether you do public or private capital. So we also have to go in that direction. If the capital is flowing through private capital, set up entities that can also attract private capital, whether that is private debt or private equity. Like I said, it's a topic that we can go on and on about, but all of these challenges are things that are very, very heavy on our minds. When I talk about a very positive outlook, is because I'm confident that these problems also create opportunity, especially when we look at where we are in sort of our general trajectory. Chair, maybe I should pause there. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Group CEO. I believe he has done justice.
Shares. And today, Albarika is no longer in existence. What have you done to help us to recover the money from Albarika here?
Sir Sonny was so.
Albarika did not exist. Sorry, Albarika did not, it's not an easy entry, easy exit for Albarika. The man is catching those with narcotics. And newspapers are carrying him, whereas he duped us in NGX.
Sir.
He took our money in NGX.
Sir, we have taken note of that, and you be rest assured we'll follow up on that. Thank you very much, Asoni Nwosu. So on this note, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I believe most of the questions have been answered, but we are open for more advice, suggestions, guidance on this board. This is a listening board. We have demonstrated that on the issue of the dividend when we discussed about the dividend last year. The following week we gave interim dividend. We discussed about the succession. We were able to do that. Today we have somebody on that seat that I believe has proved to you that we have taken the right decision. I'm going forward, you will be rest assured that this board is always ready to listen to your suggestions, recommendations, and we believe we are in the same box with you people. Whatever happens to shareholders, we are also shareholders of that NGX. Whatever benefits we have gotten, even though we are today at the board, but we'll finish our term, we still continue to be shareholders. On a positive note, let me reassure members and let me use this opportunity to tell the investing public that we at this board, we are telling the investing public that we are ready for all this capital raising. From what the groups you have mentioned, we are always working to use technology to make sure that the 4 trillion that the banking capitalization is looking at, even more if they want to come, they should come. We have the capacity, we have the resources, we have the technology, we have the professionals that are here that are going to implement all these offers. Also, let me use this opportunity to assure you that we are working as a board to make sure that before the end of this year, the Dangote fertilizer, the Dangote refinery, the NMPC that has been there for long has been listed on this exchange. So in terms of the listing, we are not sleeping. We will continue to make sure what matters to us is that when we get more listing, at least the bottom line will increase. There are going to be more trade. The market capitalization will continue to go up. And at the end of the day, the dividend that we are going to declare will multiply and become bigger. We have a bigger cake. Nobody will be talking of small. But the government need to come in. We have a lot of side discussions. We have discussed with the legislative. We have discussed with the executives. The LLNG of this world, the NMPC of this world, the discourse that are there, that are struggling, must be forced to come and be listed on the exchange. We are Nigerians, these are Nigerian companies, and they should be listed so that everybody will share the benefits of those organizations. Lastly, we have seen what Geregu Transport Power have done. So there's nothing that will prevent other disco or other generating companies to come and be listed. We have a platform. We are always improving the capacity of our platform so that we can have more listed companies on this NGS. And we are not going to relent on that. With the support of the board that we are giving the management, we will make sure that we push them so that every year we'll come with a success story. Once more, thank you very much for all your commendations. We appreciate everything. So let's go to the second item of the agenda, which is the declaration of the dividend, please. The second item of the agenda is the declaration of the final dividend. The directors are pleased to recommend a final dividend of 75 kobo per ordinary share of 50 kobo each for the year ended December 31st, 2023. No, the approval of the account. I think you should move for that.
No,
Boniface, can you? I move for that. So can I have somebody to second?
Okay, I second the motion.
Thank you very much. All those in favor should raise their right hand, please. All those against, they are not here. In Zabisa. Thank you very much. So the second item on the agenda is the declaration of dividend. The directors are pleased to recommend a final dividend of 75 kobo per ordinary share, 50 kobo each for the year ended December 31st, 2023, subject to the deduction of the withholding tax to the shareholders. I hereby move that a final dividend of 75 kobo per ordinary share, 50 kobo, for the year ended December 31st, 2023 be declared and paid to all shareholders whose name appeared on the register of members of the company at the close of business on Tuesday, 26 March 2024, subject to the deduction of the appropriate withholding tax. Will someone please second this motion? I want a lady. I want a lady, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The name is William Grace Makego. I support the motion.
Thank you. So we'll go to the voting of the dividend. Registrars, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can you please press the sign-in button on your voting device? Thank you. Yes. You can go ahead to vote in line with your decision now. Press the green button if you are voting for, the red if you are voting against. We have 1 minute to vote. Now 55 seconds. We still have about 30 seconds.
Go ahead, please. Even though I saw Azubuike raising his hand. Are you against the dividend? Okay, thank you. Register,
please. The process is over now. Yes, please, let's have the results displayed. Okay, so, Mr. Chairman, no one voted against this resolution. We have a total of 266 votes. Everyone voted in favor of the resolution, sir.
Thank you very much, Register. That means there is no dissenting vote. I declare the motion carried unanimously. Thank you very much. So the next item is ordinary business number 3 to ratify the appointment of Mr. Temi Popola, who was appointed the Group Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer by the board after the last annual general meeting. I hereby move that Mr. Temi Popola be ratified as Group Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of NGX Group Companies. Will someone please second this motion? Let Temi continue to stand. Like where Boniface have said, the shareholders are seated while the other staff and all that will do, we can stand. On this note, Azubike, please, can you give that person behind you?
Oh, please look at what the chairman is saying. It gives me great pleasure to second the motion for the ratification of Mr. Temi as the new CEO of Nigerian Exchange.
Thank you.
And please remember Reverend Olayemi, late now, who did so much to bring a lot of private companies to the exchange. Yes, please remember him. Thank you. Bamishle is the name. Bamishle. My brother was your senior at University of Maiduguri.
So, thank you very much, Bamishle. I wanted to say that, are you from Temi's village? The way you answered the raise that name, but you are passing it now back to me, University of Maiduguri. Thank you. We do that. I appreciate that. So, registrars, will you need to take a vote on this? Okay, registrars, please.
Okay, we adjust it to 30 seconds going forward. 30 seconds. Please kindly vote. It's on 30 seconds, 25 seconds left. Ten seconds left now. The voting process is over. We have 258 votes in total, representing 1.1 billion units of shares, and everyone voted in favor of the resolution. Thank you.
Thank you very much, registrars. I declare the motion carried unanimously. I hereby congratulate Mr. Temi Popola in his ratification as Group MD CEO, NGX Group of Companies. Congratulations. Amen, amen, amen. Thank you very much. Ordinary business number 4. That's the re-election of the non-executive directors that are retiring by rotation. Please, I want to request that we should take the 3 as a whole so that we can do that. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So the retiring directors are one, Mr. Sheinde Adenakbe, standing. I hereby move a motion for the re-election of Mr. Ademola Babarinde. Stand up, please. And for the re-election of Mohammed Garuba. They are the one now standing. So, yes, please, Nona.
Mr. Chairman, I would have preferred a situation where they are taken by a single resolution. However, the announcement that I heard from the registrar is that some persons have voted earlier. It may be necessary that she confirm that not one person voted against any of them. Otherwise, we'll be in contradiction, in conflict with what single resolution itself will mean. So that, I think, that confirmation first is important. And if there is none, then we can then come by a single resolution. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nona Ao. Registrars, please, can you confirm that to us, the position of the proxies, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. No one voted against their re-election. Thank you. Yes.
So on this note, we can go ahead to take it as a single resolution. So I have already moved that the 3. I need a seconder, please. You see, I don't want to encourage, because even me, I'm part of you on that side. So I don't want a situation whereby it should be like, so let me start with the mic, just close to you now, so that it's easier giving the microphone. Sorry, please, to come to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The name is Evangelist Dr. Anthony Omojola. I so second the motion.
Thank you very much, Omojola. So let's put this to vote. We invite the registrars too.
Kindly go ahead to vote. We have 30 seconds. We have 25 seconds left. Ten seconds left. The voting process is over. We have 266 shareholders voting in favor of the resolution and 1 person abstaining. 99.63% voting in favor. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much, Registrar. I declare the motion carried unanimously. And congratulations to Mr. Babarinde, Sheinde, and Garuba. The next, yes, please. So I move for the re-election. let's be clear. What we did the first one is for the single resolution. We have done that, which Boniface have seconded. Then the second one is the one that Reverend have done that. So I think I will know that. Thank you very much. I appreciate your understanding. Thank you. So the next item on the agenda is the authorization to fix remuneration of the external auditors. The board to fix remuneration of Mrs. Ernest Young, the company's independent auditors, pursuant to section 408, subsection 1B of the CAMA. Please note that Ernest Young has indicated his willingness to continue to serve as the group auditors. In the light of this, section 401, subsection 2 of CAMA permits the retiring auditors, Ernest Young, to be reappointed without any resolution being passed. Ernest Young is therefore reappointed as auditor of the group. The CAMA requires that the remuneration of the auditors be fixed by the company in general meeting in such a manner as the company in general meeting may determine. Shareholders are kindly requested to authorize the board to fix the remuneration of Ernest Young pursuant to section 408, subsection 1B of the CAMA. I hereby move a motion to authorize the board to fix Ernest Young's remuneration. Will someone please second this motion? Nobody in the middle? Okay, my sister at the back, please. Unfortunately, you are being covered by the cameraman. I can't see you. So, my sister, please. Thank you very much, my sister. I think there's no... Thank you very much, my sister. I now call on the registrar to conduct the voting, please. Registrars.
Please let us vote. We have 30 seconds. Three seconds left. Okay, voting is over. We have a total of 262 shareholders voting, representing 1.133 billion units of shares. 261 voted in favor, and 1 person voted against. Thank you.
So you had the results, and I believe the majority have voted for. So I want to declare the motion carried unanimously. Thank you very much. The next item is the disclosure of remuneration of managers. The Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 provides in section 257 that the compensation of managers of a company shall be disclosed to members of the company at the annual general meeting. In this regard, shareholders are requested to note the disclosure of the remuneration of managers as contained on page 140 of the annual report. This is for notification, if there is any question on that. Thank you very much. The next item is the election of members of the Statutory Audit Committee. Pursuant to the provision of section 404, subsection 3 to 5 of CAMA 2022, every public company shall have an audit committee which shall consist of 5 members comprising of 3 shareholders represented and 2 non-executive directors. The members of the audit committee are not entitled to remuneration and are subject to election annually. The audit committee shall examine the auditor's report and make recommendations thereon to the annual general meeting as it may deem fit. All members of the audit committee shall be financially literate, and at least 1 member shall be a member of the professional accounting body in Nigeria established by an act of the National Assembly. The shareholders in general meeting are now required to elect members of the audit committee. Leading up to this election at this AGM, according to section 404, subsection 6 of CAMA, a shareholder may nominate another shareholder for election as a member of the Statutory Audit Committee by giving notice in writing of such nomination to the company secretary at least 21 days before the annual general meeting, and any nomination not received prior to the meeting as stipulated stands invalid. While making nominations, shareholders are to be guided by the statutory requirements on the qualification of members of the audit committee. The nomination shall also include CV and profile of the nominee. For us, the directors have resolved to reappoint the 2 existing members represented on the audit committee. That is Dr. His Excellency Okechukwu Itanyi. You can stand up, please. And Mrs. Ojineka Olagere. These are the ones from our own side. Only 3 shareholders are required to join the 2 directors to bring the number to the 5. Let me state that we have received almost 11 applications for the audit committee, but happily that the other 8 have withdrawn their application, leaving the 3. And let me state that for us at NGX, like they are one of the senior colleagues, senior stakeholders, as Mike have said, we don't interfere into this. What we intend to do is to make sure that at least we have a plan for rotation, even from the audit committee, so that we shouldn't be just bringing new faces every year. So I believe internally the shareholders will sit down and do their own, because we should avoid, as much as possible, we are not against the election, but when we don't have this relationship, understanding, that will go a long way looking at the organization itself. So I want to use this opportunity on behalf of the board to thank the 8 shareholders that have willingly withdrawn their own applications, and they should be rest assured going forward, whatever we have an opportunity, we carry them along. Welcome.
Observation.
Yes, please.
My name is Comrade Sulaiman Babatunde Adenrele. I'm very sure Dr. Umar Kuranga knows me very well. Respecting all the shareholders, leaders, elders here present, yes, I'm one of the contestants, but I'm not afraid of withdrawing, but the need should be done. I didn't withdraw, and I was not contacted to withdraw. In as much as I understand you, and I know how we do it, it is not impossible for us to regulate it and do it like this, but it shouldn't just be announced as if everybody had withdrawn, while no contact was made with me, and I am here present. So, having expressed my view, then it was unofficial. Shifade, sir. Speaking your mind, sir. Yes, I must recognize my leaders here. AKC, yes, officially, I, Comrade Sulaiman Babatunde Adenrele, duly registered to contest, and from the situation of things, seeking advice from my elders and leaders in the, I hereby withdraw. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, comrade. We are into all this together, but it's an oversight. The impression I have is that everybody, but I know, comrade, we have come a long way. And I appreciate that, and I'm not taking that for granted. I appreciate this on behalf of the board members and the management of NGX. So, on this note, let me invite Mr. Samuel Adojumo to come to the front here, Mr. Peter Eyanaku, and Mr. Michael Itapogji. Yes, now.
That Baba wants to speak.
Okay.
That old Baba, don't let him speak.
No.
Just end it. Let them bow and
But we have to do the voting. Your Excellency, Dr. Ikechukwu Itanyi and Mrs. Ojinaka Olagere. Chief, please. Just stand. Chief. Yes, come out, please. So we have the 5 members in your front. Let me invite the registrar to conduct the election, please. See, so it is unopposed now. I hereby move that Mr. Samuel Adeojumo, Mr. Peter Ayanaku, Mr. Michael Itaboje, His Excellency Okechukwu Itanya, and Mr. Ojina Kawalagere be hereby elected as members of the Audit Committee. Can I have somebody to second, please? Your name, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
My name is Lawal Oluwakim. I do second the motion.
Thank you very much. So since there is no election, congratulations, the 5 members of the Audit Committee. Thank you. So we are now on special business. Number 1, to approve the director's fees. In line with Section 293 of the Company and Allied Matters Act 2020, we present a resolution for the director's remuneration. We present that the director's annual fees of financial year ending December 31st, 2024, and for succeeding years until reviewed at the annual general meeting, be at the hereby fixed at 12 million naira for chairman and 7.5 for each non-executive director, respectively. Such fees to be payable quarterly in arrears or as such other intervals as approved by the board. I hereby move a motion to approve. Yes, please. Because I'm conflicted. So let me invite the group CEO to handle that.
Thank you very much, Chairman. I will take the resolution as read, as has just been done. And I hereby move a motion to approve the director fees. Can I please have somebody second the resolution, please? Let me take, Chief. We take this seconded here. And Registrar, can we please vote on this?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Kindly vote now. We have 30 seconds to vote.
I'll call you. Sorry.
$20 seconds left. Kindly vote now, please. Voting is over. Have a total of 266 votes, representing 1.133 billion units of shares. 265 shareholders voted in favor of the resolution, and 1 voted against. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I hereby declare the motion carried by majority. Thank you. Yes, sir. And I'm returning back to the chairman to continue the other proceedings. Thank you.
Thank you. No, we are together. We are working as a family in NGX at the board, between board and the management. So the next item is the capital raise. Yes, please, Nona.
I just want to make an appeal based on your interpretation of the resolution that we just passed. I heard you say that subject to when it is increased, but I quickly want to call the board's attention to the fact that director's fees and expense, so you must always bring it up every year, pending when you are ready to increase, so we don't also run foul. Thank you very much.
Noted, sir. Nona. Oh, we are together. Thank you very much for this. So the next item, which is a special business number 2, is the capital raise by way of rights. to raise up to 10 billion naira. The company intends to raise up to 10 billion via right issue of ordinary shares.
Chairman, I believe that this resolution can be taken as single.
Thank you very much. So I move that the resolution should be taken as single, and should I take that Boniface have seconded, so that should be on record. Yeah. I will call you, sir. Don't worry, I'll call you. Don't worry, I'll call you. Okay. No, give Boniface, can you give my friend here, so that you can second the motion for a single resolution. Your name and to second, please.
Thank you very much, Chairman.
Yes, please.
Ibekwe Roberts Adenoba. I stand to second the motion. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So, yes. Thank you very much. We have taken note of that, sir. No, we'll definitely, this right must succeed. This right is a success. We're taking all this into consideration. So, Registrar, can you take the voting for the rights issue that's unanimous? The voting. Yes.
Okay. Please, let's proceed to vote.
For the right issue, please.
Kindly vote now. We have 25 seconds left, please. We have 8 seconds left. Okay, the voting process is over now. We have a total of 269 shareholders voting, representing 1.133 billion units of shares. 267 shareholders voted for the resolution, while 2 voted against it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Registrars. I hereby declare the motion carried unanimously by the majority. Thank you, by majority. So, I think we have, I hereby move that, subject to obtaining the approval of the relevant regulatory authorities, the director of the company be and I hereby authorized to raise the capital of up to 10 billion by way of rise, through the issuance of ordinary shares on such terms and conditions, and at such time as the director may deem fit or determine, and the price has been recommended. That the company be and is hereby authorized to increase the share capital from 1.10230994 billion shares naira to 1.34730994, or otherwise increase the share capital to an amount sufficient to accommodate the right issue. Then the director will be and hereby authorized to appoint such professional parties and perform all such acts as may be necessary to give effect to the above resolution, including without limitation, complying with directives of any regulatory authorities. Should I have somebody to second this as a single resolution? I'm coming.
We have done that, Chairman. That's what you voted.
No, it's no resolution.
We've done the voting.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Odunuga Samiat is the name. I second the motion.
Thank you very much. All those in favor? All those against? Thank you very much. I hereby declare the motion carried unanimously. So, the next item. So, special business number 3, amendment of clause 6 of the company's memorandum and article of association, which is the 10th item on our resolutions. I hereby move that clause 6 of the company's memorandum of association be amended to reflect the new share capital of 1,347,309,954 billion naira, be increased in addition of 490 million ordinary shares of 50 kobo, each ranking pari passu with the company's existing ordinary shares, bringing the company's total share capital to 1,347,309,954 naira made up of 2,694,619,907 issued ordinary shares. This resolution being a special resolution at least. So will someone please second this motion? This Chief. Both of us can smile now. We are together.
Good morning, Chairman.
Thank you very much.
My name is Prince Engineer Kolewu, as you support.
Thank you very much. Appreciate. So, registrars?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Kindly vote. We have 30 seconds. We have 20 seconds left. We have 3 seconds left. Voting is over. We have a total of 268 votes, representing 1.133 billion units of shares. 267 shareholders voted in favor, and 1 shareholder voted against. Thank you.
Thank you very much, registrars. The total number of votes in favor of this resolution is 99.63%, which is above the statutory requirement of 75% of the vote of shareholders. I therefore declare the motion carried unanimously. Thank you very much. So on this note, we have come to the end of today's AGM, and I want to use this opportunity on behalf of the board and the management of NGX to express our appreciation for the support, trust, and confidence you have for this board. I want to assure you that going forward is going to be better. With all the outlook we have in future, your prayers matters a lot. And I can see today the reverends, the elders, the imams that we have at this AGM. These are demonstrated that God is guiding us in whatever we are doing in this AGS. And we are not taking that for granted. On this note, let me humbly invite Chief Adeshina. Okay. Okay, sorry, Chief. Thank you very much. I just want to specially recognize you again. We appreciate your coming. Somebody, can you give us a closing prayer, please?
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. I pray God Almighty to return us to our various destinations safely. I pray God Almighty to help the Nigerian shareholders, to help our leaders, not rulers. I pray God Almighty, the AGM that we hold today, God willing next year to be better than this. I pray God Almighty to Alhaji Umaru Koiranga, Sarkin Fulani Gombe, to be the next governor of Gombe State in 2027. We have to pray because that is what we normally do. You don't have the opportunity to stop us from prayer, Alhaji Umaru. We know what you are doing. We have to pray, and we will continue praying. You won't stop me what I want to say as a shareholder. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta alaihim. Ghayril maghdubi alaihim waladdallin.
National anthem, please.